It's a Wednesday morning. He's been part of this morning show for over 30 years. They don't get much better than this one. Dr. Joe Congini, Sports Medicine Center, Akron Children's Hospital, joining us again this morning. Dr. Joe, what do you have for us today?
Well, Ray, we're going on a trip, so get your stuff packed up there.
I'm going
to take you around town this morning. So
Okay.
Finish up this show.
That sounds good to me, my friend.
I'm going to take you to the busiest place in town for sports medicine stuff going on. This is the time of year. This place is crazy. And I want to give you a little bit of a snapshot of what it's like because most people won't be able to spend time in there. They're not sure. Parents maybe have their kids in these training rooms, but the high school training room in August, there's nothing quite like it. It's crazy in the high school training rooms. And I want to give your audience a little bit of a snapshot of what that's like. So we're going to go to the high school training room, and it's run by certified athletic trainers. We talk all the time about what a great part of the sports medicine team that these certified trainers are. They're well-trained. They're up on all from injury things, from heart things and heat things, and they know all those things. But it's a little overwhelming this time of year. So you and I get down to the training room. About half the schools have a training room indoor and outdoor, so they have to go back and forth between those two because, of course, there's sports going on all over the place this time of year. And before they start school, it can be any time of day as well. And so what we'll see when we get there, there's 5, 10, 15 athletes that are in line waiting to be seen or waiting to be treated. It's bedlam in there. There's all kinds of people talking and different things and, what's emergent and what's not. And the athletic trainers kind of have to triage what's the most important thing they have to see at that time. I want to be clear. This is not just a football room. It shouldn't be, and at none of our schools, I guarantee you, as I ran our place, we have about 40 high schools that we work with. It's not a football room. So we see a lot of girls and guys there, pretty equally amount, and there's soccer players, volleyball players, cross-country athletes, football players. There's varsity kids, JV, freshmen. Nowadays, some of the junior high kids sneak in if they have a worse injury, or some schools are asking us, could we get another trainer for our junior highs? So we have about 40 schools at Akron Children's. The numbers of athletes vary. So some of our schools may have only 50 or 60 athletes. They only have a handful of sports, but that's the rarity. Most of our schools have 150 athletes, 200, 250 or more athletes. The Hudsons, the Hovens, the Walshes, Nordonias that we take care of, Copley, St. V, they have all kinds of sports and all those different levels that I talked about earlier. So there's all kinds of kids to be evaluated, and the athletic trainer has to evaluate these. And so let me go through these 7 or 8 jobs then the athletic trainer has. First of all, can they practice? So the athletes come in, can they return to practice that day? Do they just have an injury the trainer needs to look at or tape or treat a little bit? Secondly, they're evaluating new injuries that they haven't seen before, so they're not sure about these things, and that takes a little while to evaluate a new injury. They have to do it pretty quickly. Remember, there's 8 kids outside the door waiting to get in this hot room. Usually these are not the greatest facilities at the high schools. It's kind of a forgotten area with maybe a couple training tables and a whirlpool or ice pool this time of year to make sure that we don't get into heat problems. They may come up with what the injury is. Most of the time the trainers do, and they may put together kind of a treatment plan that they could do at the school, give them some stretches to do, give them some treatments that they could do before or after practice, and watch them for a couple days or a week. And if the kids are getting worse or things are just not getting better, they may need to send them to be evaluated by their primary doctor or the team physician most likely, or an orthopedist if they think they may need an x-ray. So they kind of make a decision, does this athlete need an x-ray? Maybe on the first day, not so sure. Maybe if things aren't getting better, hey, I better send them in orthopedics for an x-ray. They then evaluate, do they need to be seen? That's the vast majority that I just went over, but they might evaluate them and say, hey, you need to be seen today. I'm going to have to call a parent or talk to a parent. You got to be seen by somebody today. Or rarely, but maybe in the course of a week, there may be a case or two every week or every other week that, hey, they need to go to the emergency room to be seen. Now, in the course of a year, there may be one or two or three that need to be going by a squad, where they have to call a squad to get somebody. That may be more during a game situation, but maybe not. But that's usually only in most schools that I'm giving you my experience of all those 150, 250 athletes. Maybe we have to send somebody by squad, the trainer. Then there's also very rarely, maybe once every other year, hopefully not very often, that they have to throw somebody in an ice pool because they're getting into heat illness issues, or they even are having heart problems and they need the AED. And the trainers are well trained at those emergency things when they come up. So about half the schools in our area have a designated team physician, but they're not at the practices. But what they can be useful for is you can call them for consultation if you're not sure. But then what about the other people that don't have team doctors? In my career of the 40 years I've been in sports medicine, there's less and less doctors that volunteer to be a team physician. This is all volunteer stuff. These docs and everything that I did at the schools and we do as a team at sports medicine, that's all volunteer. The trainers are paid generally through the sports medicine centers, so the schools don't pay for them. The athletes don't pay. Many people think, hey, gosh, I got to go in there, I'm going to have to. No, they don't pay for this care. This care is done by the certified athletic trainer. Many schools with those bigger numbers I said earlier have come around in the last 5 and 10 years and asked for a second trainer. Maybe for a second trainer the school will pay for a second trainer, and they even will then have their junior high kids come and see these second trainers. I'd say probably 10 of our 40 schools have 2 trainers with the bigger numbers. So the one thing that if they don't have a team doc, they have to have somebody on our team they can call the trainer because they need consultation. And my saying that always was part of sports medicine and always will be at children's sports medicine, you can't leave a trainer on an island. They're out there seeing all these kids I just talked about, and if they need help, they need to have a doctor they can call or somebody at sports medicine, orthopedist, whatever, that they could get an answer and get some help in consultation. So that's kind of some of what goes on. Then what messes everything up is the games start pretty soon. And so the trainer is moving along, seeing these 5, 10, 15 athletes, and all of a sudden somebody will come in and say, hey, we've got a kid who's injured in a soccer game. This goalie, she's got to come in and be seen, and she either comes over to the training room or the trainer has to leave and go to wherever the injury's at to evaluate these kids. So it really is crazy. It's a lot of prioritizing who needs to be seen. You know, I was on the OHSAA committee for a lot of years, Ray, and in central Ohio and southern Ohio, they're less fortunate than we are. Only about 40% of schools even have a trainer that is available to come to the school at all. So these decisions are made by coaches. So it's really a crazy place being evaluated. These athletic trainers, it's free of charge, as I said, no charge. Some states, the schools actually pay for athletic trainers, but it just developed 30 years ago in Ohio that most of these people are hospital contracts or sports medicine centers or PT centers that contract with the schools, send out the trainer, and the trainer's in the middle of this bedlam, as I called it earlier on, and they're trying to make sense of it, and they have to sort through it. And if I could only take you down there for a day, but I tried to give you a little snapshot of what this room looks like this time of year when there's so many athletes. We've always said that injuries occur more frequently early in the season and new injuries occur. So it's a pretty crazy place to be, and I hope you get a sense of what these training rooms are like.
And not only, Joe, of everything you described, and I think you hit it really well, is, and I know you've educated me on this, every athlete is different. So their body reacts differently to treatment. It's not cookie cutter. Every body is a little bit different, correct?
You're absolutely right, and no doubt about it. And one other thing in that list of things that I said, Ray, that fits right in with what you're talking about is the in that list of things the athletic trainers have to do is, of course, the parents are going to want to know. And so in a lot of situations now in that long line, a parent will, come in and say, hey, what are you thinking about with our kid? Hey, what do you think? Do you think they need that x-ray? Do they need to go down to the sports medicine center today or the ortho center or the primary doc? So the parents play a role too. So yes, the kids are different. Yes, the kids will be, different from the standpoint of how much they want to tolerate, how much they might want to be seen, and the trainers have to get to know their kids. That's the thing about a doc will come out on a Friday night to see a game. We see very little of these kids. The trainers know their athletes, the athletic trainers, so well, and we count on them in so many ways in the high school setting. Like you said, every athlete is a little bit different, and it's the athletic trainers that know those nuances.
Great information, Joe, and really painted the picture well of certainly chaos going on to take care of all these young athletes through sports medicine. Thanks for the visit again, my friend. I always appreciate you taking time for the great reports, and we'll do it again next week.
Okay, Ray. Take care. Have a good week.
You got it, my friend. Dr. Joe Congini, part of this morning show at WAKR. Hard to believe it. Over 30 years right here Wednesdays at this time.